Alright, time to do some of the texturing on the wood. You'll notice that this one is not 100% covered, and yeah, yep. Oh, wow. Had some pent up crap in it. Alright, clean your brushes. And this one's Folk Art Cinnamon. I think I also got it at Walmart, I'm not sure. Okay. Now we're not going to work on the bases, because we're just going to cover the bases anyways. Now we're going to make them look kind of like trees. Oh, my foot just fell asleep. Why? Why foot? I also squirted way too much paint out. Do. Yeah, it's starting to look more like a tree. I'll be at a tree with no foliage. I'm probably going to put some foliage on them, just because unlike Fallout 4, there would be, after 200 years, stuff is going to start growing back. Let's be honest. Now, Mojave Desert, of course, stuff's not going to really be growing much there. That's the Mojave Desert. But Boston area, yeah, things would be growing back. I'm just going to try and claim that that was during winter. That whole game took place or something. There we go, there we go. I mean, stuff is starting to grow back from Chernobyl. And Chernobyl was the worst accident we have on record. Oh, should have done that one a little bit lighter. Whoops. Oh well. Try that. There we go. That looks a little better. Plus, putting some foliage on it means I can use it for more than just Fallout. I think I said that. So yeah, if you want them dead trees, basically, this is the step you stop. Well, you paint it, and then at that step you stop. And then boom, you got dead trees. No, bad giant tree. You'll also notice my hands become horribly covered in in whatever I'm using to paint with at the time. That's just habit. That's why I have my apron, because otherwise my shirts and pants become horribly covered in paint. It's kind of cool, some of the wildlife that's coming back to Chernobyl. Weird wildlife, but you know, mutations. And I think that's one of the cool yet tragic things about Chernobyl is now is we can actually use that place to look to see what happens. Also, to be fair to Fallout when it first came out, you know, a lot of the science was very new. A lot of the fear was there more than anything else. A little less than in the Cold War era. I mean, that was huge. There we go. There's another one. Set you aside to dry. And what would be good is, you know, look up different colors to try and make these trees actually look like different trees. But whatever. I'm just making generic, I guess, trees. And no, I didn't just decide to do this because I couldn't get all the green out of this one. If I ever do one like this again, I'm going to spray paint it instead of painting it. It was a hassle dealing with all the flicky soft bits. Although I should have come up with that as a reason, actually. It's hard, so I decided just to, you know, take the easy way out. Yay, me! Yeah, all of that. Yay, colors. Like I said, there was a hole in that squirted way too much. It's always good to use 3 colors. Squeeze just a little bit. Okay. And this one is khaki. This is where I'm going to start differentiating. Because the khaki is going to mostly go on this one. Look how that brings out whatever the heck this type of tree is supposed to be. Flicking it so we don't have a lot of paint on. Technically dry brushing, I guess. Okay. Now, painting on those bark is done. Now I'm going to take some of that brown and some of that dark brown and then some of that mocha, mix it together. And then if you want it to look more dead, usually you add in a little more gray. A nice white gray. And that'll make it look a little more dead. Alright, we're going to take a little more of this, mix it in, take all of this, how's that look? That looks like a nice color. Okay, now we're gonna put it on this one. ahead and, there we go, that should work. Do 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 do. Alright, so the way you paint the really whippy stuff is you get a little bit more on, and just kind of whack it. And it leaves some residue behind. So a little less dry brushing, a little bit more just whacking. The reason I'm whacking it mostly from the top, again, is because that's where most people are going to be looking from. There we go. Okay. So now we'll move on to the next step. Before we put on leaves, we'll keep it. So I'm going to continue doing the dead tree thing. Then by the end, we'll then put on leaves at the end. But for now, it's dead trees. All right. Well, scattered a bunch, but oh well. Alrighty then. There you are. There's the lid that I keep using for this. Don't need you guys for now. But yeah, we have 3 differently colored trees. And squeeze that Elmer's glue in. There, that should be enough. Okay. Probably have to clean you out with some soap when this is done, but there we go. Okay, let's grab, put in a little bit of water. Okay. There we go. Now we're gonna mix it in the water. There we go, there we go. It takes a little bit to mix Elmer's glue in, or tacky glue, or white glue, whatever type of glue you want to call it. It's all basically the same. There's no real difference between Elmer's and tacky glue, except for packaging. There might be a couple of chemical differences, but not enough to really matter. There we go. That should be wet enough. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to paint on Elmer's glue onto the base and then stick it in my nice Mississippi River sand. Now, this sand has been massively dried out as well. I just wanted to, I guess, tell people that. This is very dry Mississippi River sand. It's been sitting out for quite a while, but you know. I also want to get some sand dune sand because that actually has a lot more brighter colors, and this is much darker. I've also got some red sand from clay, and yeah, basically all that fun stuff. Take this and just basically paint it on, kind of thick. And that'll also help weigh them down and make them a little bit more base heavy. Okay. There we go. Weight of the sand will also help push that to help push it on. Do. May have to make another batch. The fun thing is, back in the day, a lot of painting artists and stuff also did a lot of modeling and sculpting. And the reason why they did that is because the easiest way to paint something before the advent of internet and and photography was to make a model of it so you could see it and see how the light played on it and how all that changed how the model looked and how the model and functioned and stuff. So that is one thing that I kind of miss from now the age of the internet and photography, and especially CGI. Although CGI to me does not always look wonderfully realistic. Like, you can almost always spot when CGI is used, but you cannot almost always spot when a model is used. Models usually look a lot more realistic and come out, in my opinion, a lot better. May have added in a little too much water to that one. We'll find out. Alright, let's grab our big one and let's paint on some glue. Like, there's a lot of CGI I look at and I'm like, eek. For a while, they actually even debated doing the Muppets in CGI, which I know probably would have turned out very, very upsetting to a lot of people. Yeah, this is very heavily with the water, more water than Elmer's glue, but it'll work, it'll work. As you can probably tell, I'm not a fan of CGI. Not really a fan of computers, to tell you the truth. It's one of the reasons why I sold my 3D printer, is I got tired of trying to make things in Blender when I could just make things in clay. And it turned out how I wanted to in clay, where in the 3D printer it did not always turn out how I wanted to. A lot more work for a lot less reward, in my opinion. But, you know, whatever. I guess I'm old-fashioned. Nothing wrong in that. And if you say there is anything wrong with that, then what are you doing watching my channel? Alright. There we go. We buried them in sand. I'm going to let them sit here for a few hours. Then we'll pull them out. I'll show you. We'll paint the tombstone. And then that'll be the dead wood part of it done. And then we just have to move on to if we want to foliage it or not. But yeah, there they are. They'll just sit in there for a couple hours and dry out. Time to go clean up my paintbrush. Maybe my hands too. And see you later. Alright, let's finish up the dead trees videos. So that way, later on, I can get started on the foliage videos. Anyway, so they've been sitting in here for at least 24 hours. Oh, hello, you're supposed to stay there. Oh well. Look at that. There we go. Okay now. Alright, now I'm just going to paint that one up. There we go. And then you can write a name or whatever you want in that, just like in, you know, a felt pen. A nice black felt pen, tiny Sharpie. Or just write the, you know, the customary RRP, or wait for it to dry and freehand it in black, you know. But there we go. That's how you make a bunch of scattertrain dead trees. Too bad I don't think nope, I don't have any models still up here, otherwise I'd set one next to it so you guys could have an idea what a model around the dead trees would look like. I should leave one up here just for that case. Yeah, so this one was a was an easy end that I'm going to have to clean up for the next 2 videos. And then we'll see if I foliage them. I might just move on and keep them as they are. They do look kind of fun as they are. A little cusp of dead trees. I might still foliage them. We'll see. But yeah, I really like how they turned out. And they're trees that you can pick up from the actual tree, not just so you don't have to worry about grabbing the base, which is the best thing about them. You can just grab them by their trunk. And then putting the sand on it, of course, made it a lot heavier. You still got to set it down though. Oh, it's still top heavy. There we go. We got a little gravestone and everything else. Of course, you can paint up the gravestone if you want, or leave it as it is. It's these little details that really make the things pop. But that's that video, and then we can go on to finish the others. Yay!